Just establish that my zero turn, my Ferris is3000 needs a new blooming battery. I suppose I better remove it then. Okay, let's do it. Well, well, I've run a few tests, what have you, tried to do it with the camera on the previous video, and although it was a bit of a cat-handed video, I did manage to establish what the problem is, and it is the battery. It's just not holding charge. No, as soon as it's put under the drain, it just sucks it out. So there's very little capacity in the battery. It comes up to voltage, but then it doesn't hold it. There's just not enough. Basically, it's like, I don't know, it's like having the pot, okay, having a bottle, a plastic bottle with a hole part way up with all the water's draining out, pretty much. So it's not full anymore. And that's what's happening with this battery. It's a bit annoying because it's only a couple of years old, so it's one of them things, I suppose. They don't make them like they used to, no. Anyway, let's plonk you down over here, and we're going to remove the battery. That's what we're going to do. I've already taken the battery clamp off. I think you're in there, that's it. Don't worry, you're not going to get the water bottle. I'm going to move it over to the other side. Yeah, it's my water bottle. You always got to make sure you're hydrated, you see. Yeah. Well, that's the battery. It's a little, I don't know how big it is. It's not very high amp bar. If that's about, what, 20 amp bar, something like that. Maybe more. 20, 30 amp bar. It's pretty small. So first of all, you'll normally have a clamp over the top, but I forgot to put it back on there. There's a clamp that holds the battery in place because the machine's bouncing about, you see. So obviously it's quite important thing to have on there. So I will put that back on when I get the new battery. So on this machine, it's 11mm. So first of all, I'm just going to loosen them with the spanner. Now whenever I reconnect these things, I use some copper grease. I put a little tiny bit of copper grease smeared on each of the connectors, and it helps give a good contact. Electrical contact, because the copper in the actual copper slip grease, and it also stops it from corroding. So it's obviously a good idea. All right, so that one, and then that one right here. I'm using these are 7/16. These are Imperial, it's an American machine. Not helpful sometimes. So it's got to spin round now, see, so I need something to stop that happening. All the adjuster will do. Okay. So remove that off there. Oh, it's all fun, isn't it, eh? Oh, just remember, I've left. I'm very clever. Left the starter off on. Yeah, the ignition on. Sorry, not starter. Right. So on there is actually copper slip grease on there. But what I'll do is so I don't lose them, I'll put them together like so. Right. Other thing you want to check though, is make sure there's no corrosion in these areas here where they enter, because when these are crimped or not soldered, they can corrode and then you end up no connection in the connectors. And sometimes everything you've got to watch out for, if you've got a if it won't start, for instance, and it's not the solenoid and it's not the battery, it might be to a bad earth. So basically this cable here, which is it's connected to, we'll say earth, it means to the body, to the Ferris, and that makes up the actual machine itself, makes up a part of the circuit, you see. All the metal work is the neutral. Now when I used to have the old Morris Miners, they were positive earth, they were their way around. Not very helpful when you get yourself a radio, like a stereo for it, and you don't realise, like I didn't. And then you wonder why your radio starts catching, goes bang, like mine did. Brand new as well. That's very annoying. Anyway, so okay, I've undone the two connectors, the positive and the neutral. The neutral just goes to the body of the Ferris, in this case, this machine. At the moment, it actually goes straight to the engine on this, and then the engine's bolted down to the body. But all this metalwork is part of the circuit. So all I've got to do now is I should be able to pull it out. Normally you would have a clamp in there, which you have to loosen and remove, which holds it down, and I didn't actually put it on for some reason. Which means it's laying around somewhere. Now, what you'll be careful is, with these, when you put it back again, make sure you put something underneath the battery. Remember, the battery's corrosive, so you have a rubber mat with some, you know, and repaint the bottom of the tray, which I didn't do, and I didn't realise. Well, actually, the battery was in there for ages. It corroded the actual battery tray underneath there. You wouldn't see that at the moment. So yeah, corroded the battery tray. So all I do now is I usually put the oil over it, engine oil. Just paint it with engine oil, and it just helps protect it, because the acid of the battery's leaking or what have you, it can actually corrode the tray, which you don't want to happen. These machines are expensive, you see. This machine here is a hell of a lot of money. I'm not sure how much they are now, but I paid 12 grand for it when I bought it originally. But that was back in 2007-ish, 2006, 2007. It's a long while ago now. But yeah, this battery's very suspect. So, tell you what, let's put a meter on and have a look, shall we? Yeah. I don't think it's very good. Let's put it down over there. There it is, there's the battery. Here is the meter. Remember, this battery was on charge all night. And it was, after come off the charge, it was saying it was about 13.5 volts. Obviously that settles down to about 12.7, 12.8. But I don't think it's got any capacity. It's basically, the battery's not, even though I have full voltage, it's only got a certain amount of amperage in there. Now, whereas this battery would have been, like I said, maybe about, I don't know, about 17, 18 amp hour, something like that. It's now probably what, about 5 if you're lucky. It's just not enough to run the machine. Yes, it's now saying about 8 volts. Yep. Not very helpful. No. Oh dear. Oh well, never mind. Let's get another battery. Ta-ta.